the magical side of life, where anything is possible and the infinite is accessible to all. Let's have a conscious conversation about what's going on in the world, in your life, and your relationship from the expanded perspective of your soul. The path to awareness begins and ends in the heart. So let's take it there, one step at a time, and learn to cultivate magic in your life every single day. In each episode, we share a collective space in which we discover the unique facets of our own magic and embody our superhuman qualities by humbly exploring how it's super simply to be human. Hosts Kai and Del co-create a magical experience to remind you that you are magical as fuck. Now, be unleashed. This is our daily magic.
Now that we're here, would you like to take your time and go live? Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of our Daily Magics. There's more than one, and we don't need grammar to approve that. And shout out to School of Mystics. What's up? The School of Mystics. Nice to see you here. Thank you for being here. Let's definitely chat. And we've got some interesting things to talk about. We get to talk about where it is that we are. And I'm going to start talking about where I am and what I've seen show up. I've been sharing a lot about my discoveries and being present and just being with what is. And what's really interesting is that the resistance that I initially had inside of me in order to go this deep into presence has shown up in my external world in the form of people who have resistance to me just being with what is. It's things like planning and expectations and thinking about being there as opposed to just being here, things like that. And I've had a few group conversations too, where my expression of that has been interpreted as being passive, as not being in action, as a whole lot of things, which I had that come up inside of me when I was choosing to take this route in my life, or just, really feeling into where I am and who I'm being. And it's such a testament to how this world is created. I see the inside resistance showing up in the external, and I appreciate it. I know exactly where it came from. I know exactly what it feels like, and I just get to be with that too, and continue doing what I'm doing and being who I'm being. So it's an amazing experiment, and I'm enjoying all facets of it. And that includes losing track of time, not knowing what day it is, and having things show up at the perfect moment, and being right on time without even knowing that I was, or that things are. and just letting the world show up and me show up in it. So this experiment just goes deeper and deeper and deeper.
It's like a ninja sign. There we go. That was funny. That was a ninja sign that was there.
I wonder if everyone can hear us.
Mike, 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 Mike. Sound like they could.
Okay.
If you guys can hear us, whoever's watching, let us know in the comments. Give us a thumbs up or a like or something. We just had some technical difficulties due to me. Yes, you can. And hello, whoever is there. Good, good. We just had some technical difficulties. I'm just setting up this live on this other thing. But yeah, please continue.
That's it. That must have been from that 33-point deficit in the.
I was trying to find my mic and say, I don't know where it's at. Talk about being with what it is. 33-point deficit. Biggest overcoming that ever happened in the history of the NFL. The Vikings made history, and it was on the positive side of history. Usually it's on the other side of history that the Vikings are making, but it was really cool to be able to watch that when we were watching a game, and I'm going to give myself credit, and this is what I'm going to stick to. I didn't put my jersey on until the second half of the game, and I said to Kai, and she could be the witness to it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm going to put my jersey on so the Vikings can start playing better. And I put my jersey on, and they started playing better. So, not saying there's a correlation, but then I am saying there's a correlation. Yeah, that's what I choose to believe. I'm trying to get this going here. All right, cool. Oh, so where else are we going to go to now? You said lots you wanted to digest. What's some other stuff you wanted to talk about?
I did not say lots.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
I shared what I was going to say.
Oh, okay. You know, cool thing about this podcast?
What?
I don't know what I want to talk about, which is interesting because when you don't know what you want to do, you can allow the space for the moment to create whatever is going to get created in this moment. So we're live on Facebook. We're live on TikTok as well. Hello, everyone. And this is going to be a very exciting conversation, but I don't know where it's going to go.
Cool. Let's just have it.
What's up? Good morning. Good morning, Al.
Good afternoon.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's morning in the West Coast. It's afternoon in the East Coast. What is it in? It's nighttime somewhere. I don't know where. All these different things are going on simultaneously, but the one thing that is the correlation for everything is now, the moment.
True.
Somebody say 7 p.m. See, look, there we go.
7 p.m. That must be Europe? I don't know.
7 p.m. in Israel.
Oh,
Nice.
cool.
So we just We just got back from an excursion road trip.
Yes.
That we're definitely going to Arizona, 10 a.m. in Arizona. Nice. I like that. We are global right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I was saying we just got back from a little excursion that we went to. The wife was craving a certain meal. Was it from me doing the fondue thing to you? Did that lead to it?
I can't say that it's any one thing.
Okay. So we just got back from White Castles. Went to White Castles.
Mm-hmm.
I had White Castle for breakfast. And I know that my stomach is going to be very thankful for that later in a couple minutes or so.
Do you think that your stomach is more reactive to the milkshake you had or the burgers or the combination?
It's like the perfect storm. Remember that movie, The Perfect Storm, when the hurricane, those two storms came together and it made like this crazy storm?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to happen in my stomach from all this stuff that's coming together. But it was a good little trip. Got to listen to a little bit of Joe Budden's podcast. You got the meal that you wanted.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. I like the excursions. And hello everyone who was here as well. I met Linda Greenlaw, the woman captain in that movie. What movie?
The Perfect Storm.
Oh, The Perfect Storm. Oh, yeah. Somebody said you two are so cute. Thank you. Thank you. You know, the movie The Perfect Storm actually had me scared in a moment. I watched it when I was younger. And what happened in that movie, it was this one part where they were fishing out in the ocean and stuff like that. And then out of nowhere, it was this giant wave. And with the giant wave, it had like the, like the scary type of music going on. And then there's a shark that came on there on the boat. And the shark was like, "Arr!" And I was like, ah, 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 ah. That was the thing. What else I was talking about? Oh, this is all candid stuff that I was talking to my wife about. So yesterday, I looked at this photo. The reason I looked at this photo, somebody put in a, not in a meme, the person actually really meant that. When, what did they say? Something about something being demonic. Oh, oral sex. There we go. So a person said a preacher said oral sex is demonic and is worse than lovemaking. So if you receive oral sex or give oral sex, that's demonic. So then I responded to that. Like for me, I just like sometimes I just respond to stuff just because. So I responded to it. Well, if that's the case, and then I had to fit the photo of the dude from The Exorcist, the preacher, when the preacher got possessed in The Exorcist. And I was saying to her, I'm like, it's so interesting how I look at things now. And at this age, I'm like, oh, they got contacts in. That's why the eyes are that color. But when I was younger, and those of you out there who maybe watch some soap operas with your parents or grandparents, or maybe you watch it on your own, there's a soap opera still going on, Days of Our Lives. And I was very fascinated with Days of Our Lives because Marlena, her name's Marlena, she got possessed. And with Marlena being possessed, I was so scared at that young age because seeing her eyes turn the color that it was. I'm like, oh my God. And also at that time I was growing up religious. So then I was afraid, oh my God, this happened to her, it happened to me. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like I was very afraid and stuff like that. And now I look back at it, I'm like, it was just contacts. And then a voice alteration. But knowledge is power. So I didn't have that awareness and that knowledge of this experience like I do now, in which I could look back at it from the level of awareness I am now. Like, oh, it meant this, meant that. At that time, at a young age, I was freaking terrified. It was like a boogeyman type of thing.
Hey, Allison. Hey, Donna. The boogeyman. Yeah, the wonders of technology,
Yeah.
fashion technology, makeup technology.
Let's see. Gee, when I was a kid, oh, we just reading these and not putting it up here for people to see who's going to watch it later on. Gee, when as a kid, I watched The Wizard of Oz. I would hide behind a chair. Oh my goodness. The the witch. The witch in The Wizard of Oz was pretty scary. And put in the comments for those you are here. What is something at when you were younger you were so terrified of, and now you look back at it now like, oh, it was that big, it was this or that. Like it was a movie or something like that. Please put that in there.
I had one. Hey Donna, hola Allison. Thank you.
Thank you.
Allison says Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Oh. Anybody else got scared of Thriller?
Nah. E.T. says Mackie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone said Shadows.
Shadows. See? All these different things. You know what nobody said yet? And let me know in the comments if this scares you as well. Patrick Swayze movie Ghost. When the shadow figures got the people and the shadow figures came you know how afraid I was of shadows for a while? Like, you know, I was so afraid of my shadows. I was thinking my shadows would come grab me and take me to hell.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just, I watched it. See, I watched it again. I watched it again like probably like last year or something. And I'm like, oh, it's not that bad. But like watching it, my inner child that was afraid was coming up. Like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, the shadow parts. But I was actually able to, console that part of me and let it know like it's not that big of a deal. It's just shadow effects and things like that. But I can totally understand how you're terrified at such a young age.
The one that I was scared of was Child's Play. And for those who haven't seen it, is about this like I forget what it was called. It looked like a Cabbage Patch doll almost, but it was a doll that came alive. And what really scared me was that I would have dreams that that I was like faced with a doll and that I was like trying to kill it. And then after I like really like injured it, then I would realize that it was actually my little brother. So I was like, put me in this position where like I didn't know how I could like fight this thing or hurt this thing because it like ended up being somebody that I cared about. So it was really weird. I was like, how do I fight this thing when it keeps turning out to be somebody that I care about? True, Child's Play was scary.
Somebody's asking a question that I'll ask live.
Okay.
And then also people let me know in the comments. So can y'all check each other's phone with no problem? Yes.
Is that the same person? Answer the question, yo.
Yeah.
Oh.
That person, yeah. There's no issue with this in regards to checking each other's phone, but also I don't have that need to check my partner's phone. I used to have that need in previous relationships due to my own insecurities and having previous experiences in which I have been cheated on. So then I would feel the need of, I got to check this person's phone to make sure they're not doing the same thing. It was just me playing out this wound and this belief from a previous relationship. And the root reason for that was me and my own insecurities and not trusting my partner. Now I have no need to check my partner's phone.
Right. And was that the question? Can y'all check each other's phone with no problem?
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't do we have a need to, because I don't have a need to.
Yeah.
And
yeah. It's also like but if she ain't got nothing to hide, then what's the problem, bro? I don't need to check her phone. But I also, if she asks me to check my phone, she certainly can, and then vice versa. But there's nothing really to take a look at.
Interesting.
It is because it's something that plays out in a lot of relationships in which people are afraid that their partner is doing something or things like that, and also this paranoia type of thing that goes on. I've been there before.
Will she give you her phone right now? Yes. Here.
Thank you.
Here
you go.
And I just unlocked it first, by the way. I think this is Peter, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Allison says, putting you to the test. Love it. Peter is saying, I remember when I was about 8 years old, I would have nightmares of gorillas yesterday, jumping off a cliff. It wasn't until 2011 that I realized, with help from Deborah Martin, that it was my Uncle Robert connecting with me. You see, it was the guerrillas in Cuba that ended his life. Robert was connecting to me even way back then. I'm 69 now. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. Also, what's interesting was this gorilla video. We just mentioned it. The gorilla video I showed to Kai yesterday, in which it was a family of gorillas. The father, the babies, and the mother showed up as well. So then two people were there. They were filming in the jungle, and then the babies started to mess with the guy with the camera. But then behind him was this father silverback gorilla just chilling, waiting for him to turn around or waiting for him to touch the kids, and he was going to do something. And the kids was like really like doing shit to him, like grabbing at his hair, touching his hat, and things like that. And which an ordinary person would probably turn around, and then you would have got fucked up by the gorilla. And then the mother came by, and then the mother started messing with him too. And then eventually, I get the silverback gorilla, the father just thought, okay, there's no threat. But when he walked by, like, my wife is going to be the guy with the camera that was sitting in front of the gorilla. When the silverback walked by, he walked by like this, and he was like,
what did we say that look meant?
Fuck around, find out.
There's someone that put a really funny joke in here. It said, why did the old man fall into the well? It says, the old man just couldn't see that well.
Oh my God.
I think that's hilarious.
How old is y'all? We're both 37. Have you studied the multi-universe dimensions?
Doctor Strange?
Yeah. Got it? Wizardry.
I don't know. Is that a particular kind of study? I don't always name the things that I look into.
This is a good question. Did you guys start your spiritual awakening journey together?
This part of it.
Part of it, but isn't everything part of the spiritual awakening journey? Like, there's different moments that you have in your life experience, those aha epiphany moments that you have. For me, it was, but it really got more intense in this relationship. And it started with us breaking up. And for me, during this relationship, it was the very first time for myself in which I used psychedelics. There was no way in hell I would have used psychedelics. I grew up in religion. I thought that stuff was evil. She had a skull crystal, and my son was about to touch the skull crystal. I got so triggered by it.
Wait, context. How long ago was this?
That was, what was that, like 6 years ago?
So like
2016?
16.
Yeah. She had a skull crystal, and for me, I wasn't in spirituality yet like that. So then my son, he was at a curious stage, so he saw this skull crystal look pretty cool. He's like, ooh, what's that? He's about to touch it. I was like, don't touch it, Jaden! Don't touch it! Don't touch it! No. I was so afraid that he was going to open up the portals to hell by touching it type of thing. But I was like, the universe was very clever, because universe used what I do when I was doing as a pattern with breakups, would try to do everything possible to mend the relationship. So I took those psychedelics and it led me to having a boop. And from since then, it's been a journey, but it's a fun journey. Every step in this journey is pretty cool. And also, I realized there's always another level in this awakening process.
True.
And that's the thing. Simultaneously, I was talking about the movie thing, looking back at movies I was terrified for, or I was terrified of before, and now I can look at it from a different level of awareness. Like, oh, it's not that scary. And the same thing in regards to level of awareness from previous life experiences, in which I can look at back then, look at it now, like, oh, it wasn't as devastating as I thought it was in those moments. I mean, it still hurt, but it played a part to help me to discover the truth of who I am.
Well, it was as devastating as it was in that moment, but from your perspective now, you see it differently.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. And this is why I believe there's infinite ways to perceive a situation. And you can look at a situation now and you look at it again in another year or so, and you'll see a different perspective.
Right. Right.
I was thinking about for my TikTok, I wanted to talk about a certain topic for just like 10 days straight, just to see what I would say.
Interesting.
I used to think before that I would need to force myself to keep saying the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm not the same person then. I'm not the same person as I was when I recorded this one content.
Yeah.
And there's always another level of expansion from that.
True. There's a guy, I was listening to a podcast, and there's a guy who is a poet, and part of his discipline was to write the same poem every day for a year.
That's nice.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
A skull crystal, not like the skull crystals, but it was a skull crystal. Alice says, of course I would have one of those. Thank you for your openness, she says.
Yeah, you're welcome. I love sharing. But also just sharing. How long have you been doing our daily? How long have this been going on?
I don't know, 3-4 years. I always overestimate, though.
Somebody say your lady is very pretty. Yes, she is.
Thank you.
I know how to pick them. Young Bucks. The map. You should look it up.
Interesting. Oh yeah, right. So I wanted to, like, when you said that, I was like, I just had this urge to want to like preserve also like how you felt in that moment, and like the validity of that. You know, like if I'm scared of something in this moment, that doesn't mean that it's not scary. Like it's scary to me in this moment, and maybe my awareness expands, or my understandings change, or the meaning that I give it alters. But in this moment, that is 100% completely valid.
Yeah, it is. And like for me, I honor that part of me that felt that.
Mm-hmm.
But also I help that part of me to reassure that I hear you, but also I want to like pretty much parenting myself.
Interesting. I find that interesting because with this about being like present that I was talking about is also about like a high level of acceptance, right? What's here is what's here. I like, thank you for being here. I'm here with you, like all of those things. But also I'm finding that the more that I'm here with what's here, the less I need to rationalize about it, alter the way that I feel about it, or create any change. I'm feeling like just being with what's here is like enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't have to like, I don't even have to like talk with it being like, yeah, you're welcome here. No, it's like just being here just has it be okay that it's here.
Yeah.
It's, it's like the being.
Okay. Cool.
So just reflecting on how that is, how that's playing out in my story right now.
Cool. Like I like to say, there's infinite ways to try something. Right? There's all these different modalities out there.
Right. And that also speaks to how it is that I feel about parenting. Even talking about the discoveries that I've had about myself and how I've recently been feeling about this relationship that I get to create with my dad, and releasing any expectations of myself and of him. Just has it be a relationship where we just be here for each other. I don't even want to say for each other. I just want to say we just be.
Be with each other.
We're not with each other right now, but we're just being. He's in New England and I'm here.
Shouts to Pops.
But just being, and that being enough.
Yeah. It can be.
So maybe that is parenting, self-parenting to me.
Yeah. It's just words, like I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Words are just words.
Mm-hmm.
Your energy and intention behind the words gives it whatever meaning it's meant to.
Yeah.
So for me, saying in that terms parenting,
right,
you're doing another way, being. But like for me, parenting means I'm being the infinite space that I am for these parts of me.
mm-hmm.
So me being the infinite space that I am, I get to be what these parts of me may have needed in certain moments.
Mm-hmm.
And like for me, doing it in that way, I'm able to let go of the resentment and the stuff I have towards whoever I felt like they weren't who I wanted them to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I get to be it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same like essence going on, just my own different formula.
Got it. I don't know who's heard about this studded Starbucks cup craze, but I got one for myself yesterday. It's funny because I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to Starbucks and I'm going to save up all of my points so that way I can get one for free. And I was like 20 something points away from getting the free cup. And I was like, I don't know if I can feel like buying more Starbucks. I'm just going to go buy the cup, which was like $16. So I bought it and then I got something else with the points. But all that is to say, like, that also had me reflect on the barriers that sometimes I put to things that I want. And it's like, it doesn't have to be that way. If I want it now, I can just have it now. And release the expectation of how it is that I want it to happen. And it was fun accruing the points, and I used it for something else. Who's that question for, Allison? Or do you want to answer it, though?
Yeah. Also, there's a bigger.
Oh, it's a bigger one up there. Got it. Parenting oneself. Oh, I agree. I know. I had a moment yesterday. I was working, getting all of my files in order. All of my files in order. A job for a month. I realized I didn't have the funds to complete the job, and old tapes just came in and overcame me for most of the day until I realized that I realized what was going on mentally. After that, it was clear sailing. Interesting. It is interesting to just notice. Allison said, I get that. Being with what is your relationship with your dad. Oops, now we get to what do you mean?
Parenting yourself. Yeah. So what I meant by that is giving yourself the things that maybe you wish that your parents would have given it to you. Now, obviously, all of our parents do the best that they can, given the situation, given their own conditioning, given their own traumas that they're dealing with and things like that. And for me, long story short, when I did some healing work in regards to relationship with my parents, it started 2 years ago when my father passed away. And I acknowledged that I had a resentment. And I'm like, okay, I sat with that. I sat with that because there were parts of me that felt resentment. I wasn't resentment. There were parts of me that felt resentment from different experiences, and I allowed it to be there, just like we were talking about. And with me being with it, it allowed these parts of me to feel the resentment. Like it's okay that you felt that. And that, like one example of it was there's a part of me that felt resentment because I didn't get this championship belt that I wanted as a kid, but I never had the opportunity to fully like process that resentment in that moment. So then it started to fester and things like that. So I let that part of me talk about that. I asked that part of me that it still want to get a championship belt. It said yeah, and I manifested that for myself. But like doing stuff like that to reassure those parts of me, like, hey, I got you, and it helped me to let go of the resentment that I had. But then also looking at it from different level awareness, my parents are who they were for me to learn my soul lessons, for me to expand. That's the way I choose to perceive it as well. But then also, I'm more than capable of giving myself the things that I have resentment because someone else didn't give it to me, or I feel bitterness because it's like I'm holding them to an expectation of me. I'm expecting you to be like me, how I feel you should be, instead of allowing them to just be who they are, and that'd be okay. But also being grateful because it helped them to teach me the tools that actually I can give it to myself because I'm infinite. So that's what I meant in regards to parenting yourself, like being the maybe the parent that you wish that you would have had, or be the lover that you wish that someone was for you, be the friend that you wish somebody would be for you, be the infinite space for yourself to give yourself those different things. And in a moment like that of that championship belt, that part of me was very excited. I was very grateful for me to get that for it.
Yeah. Infinite definition.
I think your dad's on here.
I know, I just checked it. Because I couldn't tell. Hey, Dad. That's so funny. Thanks for being here. Coincidence. Hmm. I got it. I got it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's self love.
Right.
Give yourself love. Love isn't just one flavor. Love is infinite.
Right. Right. And how it is that you want it or receive it or perceive it is your unique flavor.
Yeah. And also, I made the decision I want to let go of resentment and bitterness because I'm like, truth be told, I'm going to die one day. I don't know when I'm going to die. And I just had experience with death with people close to me. And it's just a reminder of just how mortal this body vessel is and how time is expiring moment by moment. Something I brought a realization to. And all right, how am I going to choose to live my life? What do I want to create more for my life? And I don't want to be resentful and bitter over moments I can't change. I'd rather make peace with moments that already happened so I could be peaceful more now. And that took a willingness to let go of these things. It took a willingness for me to actually take the charge of giving myself more love and giving myself that stuff and let people be.
Hmm. Dad says life is too short.
Yeah. How you know that's dad, not Peter?
Because it's right there.
Oh. Yeah. Really, really think about that. Life is too short for each and every one of us.
I think and I feel differently. I'm not um invalidating what you're saying. Is I feel like I've had plenty of times in my life where I literally like thought to myself like I could die right now, and I could be okay with that. And that also feels like it's I like in this place of, I guess you could call it like radical acceptance. It's like if I'm making space for things in my life, I can make space for death too. It's something that happens. It's something that's inevitable. It may not even be just my own death that I'm making space for, but like I understand that people have a limited amount of time here, and I get it, and I can be okay with it, and I can be sad about it, when it happens, and still hold space in my life for that to be there, as whatever it is that I'm making it mean in that moment. Um, and yeah, it's an experience to be with how much time that we have. You want to read this one?
Man, when it came to my father, my brother was really tough on dad. Parents are human beings and do the best they can with what they have. My brother's influence was so great, I didn't communicate with dad for close to 9 years. One day, after both my brother and I went through the military, I finally just started to communicate with dad. And that pretty much put a split between my brother and me most of our lives. I remember in the early 60s where my dad and brother was going at it in the kitchen. I guess that was kitchen.
Right.
Yeah,
If you want to continue, Peter, all good.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, that's the thing. Like my relationship with death has changed
Hmm.
as well. Like I got curious about it, but also it's part of the process. It's something that we all are going to go through. It's something that's guaranteed. We're born and we're guaranteed we're going to die. How that's going to happen, it's a mystery. But me getting more curious about it helped me to be at peace with it,
Mm.
but also be at peace with experiencing the death of my sister and my father. It was part of this process. And I was just talking to my friend, you heard it on the phone earlier, when he was just checking in with me to see how I was doing for the holidays. And I'm like, I'll be honest, like I was just talking to my wife about this yesterday. I'm like, dang, I wouldn't have thought in the past 2 years I would experience the death of my father and my sister. And it hurts, but also it's part of the process. This is what happens. This is one of the things that we sign up for, type of thing. But that curiosity for me, because I want to know, okay, like what happens after this? And I chose not to believe the stuff I got taught to believe what happens in the afterlife. And hearing more about it, one had it gets me more inspired to live more purposefully in every moment. So I choose to use it in that way, not use it in a way to be afraid of it, try to avoid it, type of thing, try to act like it doesn't exist. Because what life's showing us is like, oh, it definitely does exist because every moment somebody's going.
And somebody's coming into the world
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So Al said, you two have a good holiday. Have a good Christmas. I'm going to go paint rocks. Waterfall Creek.
Have fun.
Yeah, enjoy. Hello there, baby Rose.
Hmm.
And yeah, for those of you who are here live too, put your comments, put some questions in here as well. This is a candid conversation.
Interactive.
Our Daily Magic podcast. We're having a magical moment, and we went everywhere. How do people deal with death? Can you give more context? Do you mean how do you feel people should deal with death, or just how do I feel how people deal with death? I didn't want to like jump the broom on that. Because definitely society, death is dealt with in so many different ways. I'm gonna get to you, baby Rose. Somebody just put a comment on we're on Facebook Live as well for our audience. Yes, the way, whatever way that they choose with it. And like I was just saying, there's so many different ways people deal with death. Some people treat it as like a sacrament, as a spiritual experience, and some people are afraid of it. Some people are fearing death because they have this belief that when they die, Either they may be in heaven or they may spend eternity in fire. So they have this fear about death, but also using that fear. Some people use it to live more personally now, but it all depends on the person. That's like a question that you'll ask different people and you'll get different answers. Some people don't even want to talk about it. It's something not to be discussed unless it's time to discuss it. Some people do as much as possible to avoid that. Some people think that it's not going to happen any time now, so they live life as if they're going to have tomorrow. So many different things. What do you feel?
I agree. People deal with it the way that they deal with it.
It's a time, especially at the time of passing. Yeah. You got the next one.
Do be present to be with them. Deborah Martin has a great way toward death. It's a time to stay in the moment, feel totally open. Well, if we are think if you think about that time, it's like, oh, you're approaching this time of death. Oh, you better, it's like savor each moment right before them. What if you lived your life that way?
Exactly.
Until that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. And who was saying it? Oh, Wayne Dyer. He read this book with a hospice nurse who wrote a book on dealing with hospice. So people who are at the brink of death and they're pretty much living their last moments. And she asked them, like, what is their deepest regret? Knowing that they're about to die, what's the deepest regret? And a lot of them said the deepest regret was they always thought they would have additional time to do those things that they wanted to do.
Right. If you think about like how people even feel about Mondays, I'm like, oh, I hate Mondays because the weekend is too short. Well, this is very comparable to saying, like life is too short. If we're with the weekend in the moment and you do all the things that you want to do, or just, be who it is that you've always wanted to be, or just, be who you are and enjoy. It's like the weekend is the weekend and the rest of the week is the rest of the week. And all of the feelings that come up are absolutely fine as well. There's infinite ways to be with it, infinite ways to be with life, infinite ways to be with death, and they're all fine.
Yeah. And then Baby Rose said, my mom has cancer. She's terrified to die.
Yeah.
Has she ever mentioned to you why she's afraid to die?
If I think about it, what had me be resistant previously to being present to the moment was my fear of death. I said, if I give up all of the expectations that I have, if I give up all of the ways that I think life should be, if I give up living it the way that I think that I should live it, then that's almost like dying. And then literally in a moment's notice, I just gave it up. I didn't decide to give it up. I just gave it up. And started to sink into this place that's called here and be with this period of time that's called now. Allison says, grief is real. Fear of death is natural.
Yeah. And Baby Rose said, she said she should have done things differently and has a lot of regrets.
Got it.
That's definitely something that I experienced in my life as well. When I look back on certain moments, and looking back at moments with the level of awareness I have now, and I could see from the level of awareness that I am now that, oh, I could have done this differently. I could have said this thing differently. I could have did something differently. And I was feeling regret because, oh man, I should have done this. I should have done that. And it led to all this turmoil. But also what it led to is all this beautiful opportunity in the moment right now that I have to actually be something different with this level of awareness. I'm now stuck in this torturing cycle of beating myself up over moments that happened the way that it happened. What allowed me to let go of the regret was coming to this knowingness for myself of I did what I was meant to do in those moments. I did the best that I could have done in those moments, given the level of awareness I had, given whatever condition I was in those moments. And now with this level of awareness I have now, I have an opportunity to create something different moving forward. And that's a possibility also for your mother if she's open to it, in which now she's still here. So she has an opportunity while she is still here to start creating something different from the level of awareness she's at right now and start to create things differently from the level of awareness she is right now. And that's the regret thing. I'm pretty sure all of us felt that, but we can't change what has happened, but we can change what is happening in this moment moving forward if we choose to.
True.
And she had one more question. She said, I like someone finally, but he is my peer specialist. Should I ask him out?
What's a peer specialist?
I don't know. Once again, I feel like life's too short. If you like someone, why not? What's the best that could happen? This is how I feel. I just did a video on this too about rejection.
Yeah.
How rejection, the fear of rejection could potentially stop you from actually going for those things that you want. But you never know what can happen unless you go for those things you want. But then also, inevitably, sometimes you're going to be told no. But for me, it feels better to know that I tried for something and was told no, as opposed to having the what ifs going on in my head. What if I would have went for that thing? What if I would have done that? What if I would have said this thing? Talk about the regret train coming back in type of thing. And that's why I choose now to do those things that, oh my God, I'm going to get told no. Okay. Rejection is a redirection.
Is it? That's, you said that before, and that's what it got me like thinking. Because I was like, what's the difference between not doing something out of a fear of rejection or doing something out of a fear of regret? And it's like that felt like a lose-lose. It's like doing something because of avoiding something else. So that was where, like, I just dove into that, and I was like, okay, well, being okay with rejection means what? And that's where I found that I had like a deep-seated belief that rejection was like death. And it's like, can I be okay with that? And I was like, well, then I can be okay with anything. So let me just be okay with anything. And then it just led to this space. Can I be okay with grief?
Can you?
I don't feel like that's a question that is answered with words.
We're doing great, Klitsch Clipper. How are you doing?
What?
I love people have some amazing usernames on here.
I don't think that's what that says.
Yes, it does. Oh, It doesn't. Let me correct it. Clip clipper. I love that.
That is a very unique username. And thank you all for being here.
Yeah.
Allison says your positivity is contagious.
Oh.
Awesome sauce.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for contributing to it.
Yeah, each and every one of you. For your comments, your questions, the love. This is a great episode.
Yeah. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
And
stay magical. Miss you too.
Take care, Allison. Take care, Peter. Take care, Dan.
Yep. Take care.
You've been listening to our Daily Magic podcast with Kai and Dell. Please like, subscribe, and tune in next week for another magical episode. Visit www.ourdailymagic.com for more. Thank you for listening and have a magical day.